What if I told you that the biggest tax benefit for foreigners in Italy, the one that everyone talks about, known as the Regime Forfettario, is actually a big trap? That a single small mistake can cost you thousands, even tens of thousands of euros. We're not talking about a theory. This is unfortunately very real. This is happening right now. Just last week, the Italian tax authority, the Agenzia delle Entrate, dropped a resolution, the number 78/E of 2025, of course, that cleared up some major questions and, in doing so, created some very dangerous new rules. Rules that will impact every single digital nomad, every professional, every foreign entrepreneur looking to live and work in Italy. It's a game changer. And if you don't understand it, you're not just risking a fine. You're risking your entire financial future in our beautiful country. For years, we've been told that the Regime Forfettario, our flat tax for businesses up to 85,000, it's a simple, no-brainer system, straightforward, and for many, it is. But complexity hides in details. You cannot just go on what you read on forums. You cannot assume the rules are simple. They never are, not when it comes to taxes. What we have learned from our work with hundreds of clients in this, people get in trouble not because they're trying to cheat the system. They get in trouble because they don't know what they don't know. They're surprised. They think they're bulletproof, but they're not. Like in a very real negotiation, you need to understand the playing field, the hidden rules, the black swans. In this video, we're going to show you exactly how to look for and what to look for. We'll break down the new resolution in clear real-life examples. We show you the mistake, the cost, and most important, how to avoid it, so you can truly live a fearless financial life here in Italy. Let's start with the first big clarification from the new resolution, the 85,000 revenue cap. The rule for the Regime Forfettario is that, or was that, your yearly revenue, or ricavi, using the Italian word, must not go over 85,000. But what if you start your business in Italy on, let's say, October 1st? You only work for 3 months of the year, right? Do you still have to follow the 85,000 revenue limit, or there is a smaller proportional amount? For a long time, there was some confusion. Some people thought you could divide that 85,000 by 12 and multiply it by the number of months you were active. So if you work for, let's say, 3 months, your cap would be around 21,000. This seemed logical, it seemed fair. But the Italian tax authority has now made it crystal clear. This is not how it works. The 85,000 limit is absolute, no matter when you start your business during the year. This is a huge, huge deal. Let's look at a real-life example. If this video helped you even a little bit, make sure you hit subscribe. We've got a lot more coming. And before you book a one-on-one session with us or you hire us for any tax-related service, take a moment to check our digital store. We've built a complete collection of guides, masterclasses, templates that already solve more than 80% of the real-world tax questions expats face in Italy. You will find everything directly in our store. The link is right below in the description. Let's call our case Marco. Marco is a freelance web developer from the United States. He decides to move to Italy and gets his visa approved. Then he opens his Italian business, his partita IVA, on September 1st. He's a smart guy, he's very good at his job. So in just 4 months, from September to December, he lands some fantastic projects. He works hard, his client paying well. By the end of the year, Marco has made a total of 30,000. Now, if we were to use the old incorrect proportional rule, the one that 90% of the commercialists out there have used without a second thought at the expense of their clients, I should say Marco would be fine. The proportional limit for his months would have been around 28,000, so 30,000 would be a bit over. Maybe we could argue that, but with new clarification, the rule is incredibly simple. The 85,000 limit is the only limit. Marco's revenue of 30,000 is far, far below that. So he can use the flat tax regime, pay a very low tax rate, and keep the most of his earnings. He is safe under the 5%. This new rule is a gift for people who start a business later in the year, as long as they don't earn more than 85,000 in total. This is a big win for them. Now, let's go with the second part of the resolution, the one that is truly a minefield, the exclusion for those with company shares. The Regime Forfettario has an exclusion rule. You cannot use it if you're a shareholder in a company or società di capitali or limited company if you want, that does the same or a very similar type of work as your freelance business in a foreign country or in Italy too. The reason is to stop people from creating two businesses just to take advantage of the flat tax. So the new resolution has made this rule much stricter. They've clarified that this exclusion applies if you have direct control on the company. That is, generally speaking, if you have more than 50% of the voting rights. This part is not new, but they also made it clear that it applies also if you have indirect control. This is the sneaky part. This is the part that will catch people off guard. Indirect control means that you, your family members, or even a company you control together hold a controlling stake in another company. So let's see it with another example. Let's call our client Giovanni. Giovanni is a marketing consultant from Germany. He moves to Italy and wants to open his business under the Regime Forfettario. He thinks he's a perfect candidate. He doesn't own any shares in the companies. What he forgets is that his wife, Maria, has also a business. Maria owns a small company in Germany that provides marketing services to clients in Germany. So Giovanni has no shares in their company. Maria indeed owns 100% of her company. Now, a couple of years ago, Giovanni helped his wife's company out. He gave her an important list of clients, even helped her land a big contract. He did this for free just to help her out. They're a couple, right? In the past, Giovanni would have been fine. He had no direct shares. His wife's business was in Germany, so completely separate. But a new resolution adds a new layer of detail. Now the tax authority can look at the family connection. They can say, wait a minute, Giovanni's business in Italy and his wife's business in Germany are doing the same type of work. Even though Giovanni doesn't have a direct share, the fact that his wife has a company that does the same stuff could be considered indirect control. So if the Italian tax authority makes this argument, Giovanni could be kicked out of the Regime Forfettario. And this would mean his tax rate would jump from a low, beautiful 5 or 15% to a progressive tax rate that could go all the way up to 43%, plus VAT or IVA. Just imagine, he was paying just 5% on his income, let's say 50,000, that's 2,500. Now, he could be forced to pay close to 15,000 or more, all because of an indirect connection he didn't even think about. This is a real risk. This is a real danger. This Resolution 78/E is not just a bunch of legal words and pages. It's a clear warning. The tax authority is now looking more closely at who qualifies. This is why you cannot simply read the law and think you understand it. This is why you just must diagnose before you prescribe. You need to understand your entire situation, not just the part that seems to fit. The good news is that these are not unsolvable problems. They're pretty predictable. If you have the right information, you can make the right decisions. You can reconstruct your business or simply be aware of the rules and act accordingly, plan accordingly. The new resolution tells us something really important. The Italian tax authority is now getting serious about who can use the Regime Forfettario. They're closing the loopholes, they're making it harder to get in if you have a complex situation. So if you're a digital nomad, if you're a professional moving here, if you have any connection to a family business or another company, you need to understand this. It's no longer enough to just not own shares. You need to make sure there are no indirect or direct connections. You need to be sure you don't have a conflict of interest that could be seen an abuse of the system. Thank you for watching. See you the next time.
At Studio Rigo, we provide tax and strategic guidance for those navigating international complexity with significant interests in Italy. We work quietly, precisely, and always with the long term in mind. If you expect nothing less than clarity and control, you'll know where to find us. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.